Hello and welcome back to Shakesyear. We are working on The Rape of Lucrece, which content warning is going to deal with violence against women, so if you need to skip these videos, feel free to do so. But for those of you still watching, we went through the argument which gave us the whole plot, but now we're getting into sort of the nitty-gritty of it. And Shakespeare is getting into the nitty-gritty of it. We're going to look at stanzas 5 through 8 today. And in 1 through 4, he just set the scene that Sextus Tarquinius is riding back to Rome because he wants to sleep with Lucretia. And Shakespeare started to sort of lay the blame a little bit on Collatine for bragging about his wife in the tent. And stanza 5 picks up in that sort of mindset, saying, "Beauty itself doth of itself persuade the eyes of men without an orator. What needeth then apologies be made to set forth that which is so singular? Or why is Collatine, the publisher of that rich jewel, he should keep unknown from thievish ears, because it is his own? Perchance his boast of Lucretia's sovereignty suggested this proud issue of a king. For by our ears our hearts oft tainted be. Perchance that envy of so rich a thing, braving compare, disdainfully did sting his high-pitched thoughts, that meaner men should vaunt that golden hap which their superiors want. But some untimely thought did instigate his all too timeless speed, if none of those. His honor, his affairs, his friends, his state, neglected all, with swift intent he goes to quench the coal which in his liver glows. O rash, false heat, wrapped in repentant cold, thy hasty spring still blasts, and ne'er grows old." When at Colatium this false lord arrived, well was he welcomed by the Roman dame, within whose face beauty and virtue strived, which of them both should underprop her fame. When virtue bragged, beauty would blush for shame. When beauty boasted blushes in despite, virtue would stain that o'er with silver white. So this is interesting to me in that Shakespeare is taking so much time to theorize on why Sextus is doing what he's doing. In the first 3 of these 4 stanzas, he's trying to justify it. He's trying to figure out some reason for it or some cause for it. He's like, people can see things that are beautiful. You don't have to tell somebody that someone or something is beautiful. So like Sextus should have maybe known that already or could have seen that for himself. But then why did Collatine have to talk about it? He should have kept his mouth shut, because the beauty of his wife is something that he should have kept to himself. And maybe the fact that he talked about it and bragged about it so much to the son of a king specifically irritated the son of the king, Sextus, because he thinks he's supposed to have the most beautiful and most chaste wife. So for Sextus to listen to Collatine talk about how he has the better wife sent Sextus into like a fit of jealousy and a fit of rage. But then he's like, whatever it was, it made Sextus like drop everything, forget everything else, his honor, his place, what he was doing, and rush back to Rome so that he could satisfy his lust. And the last of these stanzas, Shakespeare's like, yeah, when he got there, Lucretia was really lovely. She was very welcoming and very kind, and she did appear as beautiful and as virtuous as Collatine had said. When she started to be so virtuous, she would then like blush for shame because she shouldn't be bragging about herself. But then her blushing made her so much more beautiful that her virtue had to step in and get rid of the blushing, so that, like her beauty and her virtue were fighting with each other to say which she had more of, or which was the more notable quality for her to have. So anyway, I just think that it's interesting. You can tell the story of what happened in Roman times, but I think that it's interesting that Shakespeare took the time and spent as many stanzas as he did trying to figure out why it happened, not just that it happened, but trying to reason it out and get into the mindset of why Sextus did what he did. And I think that it's also interesting that he places so much blame for it on Collatine. And I wonder if that's going to be important later. So tune on back in tomorrow and we will start to find out if those things happen. But I mean, there's more story that we need to get through before we get there. But come on back tomorrow for more and we'll hopefully get answers to all of these questions eventually. I'll see you then. Mwah.